Alright, kids, doing my predictions for UFC 164. And if you didn't recall, for my UFC 162 picks, I went 5 and 5 on the main card, even nailing the Chris Weidman upset. So, congratulations, me. UFC 164, Ben Henderson versus Anthony Pettis, a rematch of what many people consider to be one of the best fights in MMA history. Obviously, that was a fight that Anthony Pettis won. But Pettis, since he's been in the UFC, he's kind of had a up and down career. He lost a fight to Guida. He knocked out that one guy whose name escapes me, unfortunately. And Donald Cerrone. And Ben Henderson, as we all know, has just been undefeated in the UFC since he arrived. Had the duology of fights against Frank Edgar. Recently got a decision victory over Gilbert Melendez. His best showing was that fight he had against Nate Diaz last December. So here we go, the long-awaited rematch. Pettis, he was going to fight Jose Aldo, but didn't come to fruition. Henderson was going to fight TJ Grant, that didn't come to fruition, so they said, why not? Let's do round two. Looking at this fight, Pettis won the first fight. He had the super kick, we all call it. It was a very entertaining fight. It was very close. Henderson, I think, has evolved a whole lot more as a fighter than Pettis has. Henderson, in that fight, he was just doing everything wrong. He just should have went there and just stuck to his wrestling and made it not so much as wild, crazy striking contest as much as he should have just made it basically a ground battle. And whereas Pettis, I think, is still kind of relying on that flashy, showy, knockout style, go hell-bent for fight of the night honors, Henderson has become a smarter, albeit more boring fighter. And I think ultimately that technique and that approach might be the thing that gives him the advantage in this fight. When you break it down in terms of striking, I think Ben Henderson actually has the better statistics as far as significant strikes compared to Pettis, even though I think Pettis has the flashier pedigree when it comes to striking. Submissions, I would give Anthony Pettis the advantage, but in terms of both wrestling and defense, I go with the defending champ, Ben Henderson. Basically, he's a poor man's GSP, and I think in this fight, he's going to go out there and fight like a poor man's GSP, and he's going to defeat Anthony Pettis in a very boring, disappointing fight by split decision. Co-main event, Frank Mir against Josh Barnett. Crazy I'm seeing Josh Barnett in the UFC for the first time in 12 years. It's kind of hard to take in. As far as striking goes, Barnett probably a better fighter. In terms of defense, I think Josh Barnett is better against defending the takedown and also a little bit better with defending the strikes. However, two areas where I think Frank Mir has an advantage, submissions, obviously, and I think he is overall a better wrestler than Barnett. And I think Barnett, he's good, but does he have the gas tank? I mean, he's more conditioned than Alistair Overeem, but you look at that fight he had against Daniel Cormier, you could tell this is not a guy who's really built to go 15 minutes straight. In that, I think Frank Mir, he rebounds. He had that really horrible fight against Cormier earlier this year. Yeah, it was this year. And I think Frank Mir is going to basically do to Barnett what Cormier did to him. He's going to grind him out against the cage, work for the takedown, and I think Mir actually finishes this one in the third round by submission with a really nasty-looking Kimura or something. Chad Mendes against Clay Guida, a really interesting featherweight fight. Mendes, I give the advantage in terms of striking, wrestling, and takedown defense. But Guida, the better wrestler, not better wrestler, he's better with submissions, I would say. Guida, he used to fight really exciting, but now he's fighting incredibly reserved. Mendes, very exciting, entertaining prospect. Guida's going to go in there and try to go for the takedowns, and I think Mendes counters that nicely. I don't think Mendes gets the finish, but I think he does go on to dominate Guida for a majority of this fight. I see him winning by unanimous decision. Ben Rothwell against Vera. Vera, probably the better striker, but I think overall Rothwell has him beaten every other category, including takedowns and submissions. I see Rothwell winning this fight by TKO in the second round. Eric Kocj taking on Dustin Porier. Kocj, I think, is better as far as takedown defense goes, but in every other category I give it to Porier. And also his nickname is the Diamond, so therefore he wins automatically. I see him winning unanimous decision in what should be a pretty entertaining fight. Jamie Varner against Gleison Tibau. This is a fight where Varner's sole advantage is in striking, and just ask Edson Barboza, he can still hit. But I think Tibau is just a better fighter in every other category, especially submissions and wrestling. And I think Tibau wins this one by unanimous decision. Flyweight fight, you got Louis Guida taking on Tim Elliott, and I'm going to go with the upset here. I know Guida, he's definitely a highly touted fighter in the division. Tim Elliott, kind of a newcomer of sorts, doesn't really have the name appeal that Louis does. But I think, looking at stats, Elliott, he's a better fighter in every category. Better striker, better with submissions, better wrestler, better with defense. I think Elliott wins this one by unanimous decision. That might be my silver pick of the night. Take that one. You'll make some money if you bet on that one, probably. Pascal Kraus taking on Hugo Lim. Hugo, I think, is better with striking, but I'm going to give Kraus the advantage in every other category, and I got him winning by submission round 2 as the Axis powers collide. Bantamweight fight, Chico Camus taking on Kyung Ho Kang. Kyo Hung Kang, probably a better wrestler, but I've got Chico Camus. Whether or not he is the illegitimate love child of Albert Camus, we haven't determined. I see him winning this fight by second round TKO. Heavyweight matchup, So Palal against Nikita Krylov. This is my gold pick of the evening. I'm going to give this fight to Krylov in round 1 TKO. Take this one to the bank. I guarantee this will happen, or else I'll eat my own hat. That's what I'll do. I feel that much conviction about it. We got Ryan Couture taking on Al Iaquinta. This might be my bronze pick of the night. For him to pick any fight, I'd say Couture is probably going to win this one. He's pretty much better than Al Iaquinta in every category. So I see Couture winning this one with a late stoppage, round 3 TKO. And final fight, well, actually the first fight, if you're looking at this chronologically, I got Jared Hammond defeating Magnus Siedenblad, round 2 TKO. So there you go, UFC 164 looking to be a better than average show, but I'm still not paying money for it. See you at the cage.